Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mad Barn Academy. And if this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. We hope to earn your subscription today. I'm Dr. Fran Rowe, one of the veterinary nutritionists here at Mad Barn. And our topic of discussion for today is on equine dental health, and specifically why you should consider an annual dental exam as part of your routine preventative care for your horse. So let's get started. Just like vaccines and deworming, the dental exam should be part of your preventative care routine for your horse. Maintaining good dental health is imperative for your horse's overall health and well being and their performance. For one, digestion starts in the mouth. So, without good dental health, your horse will struggle with inefficient chewing, decreased digestive efficiency, and potentially that could lead to some poor weight maintenance. Additionally, dental disease can cause pain due to cheek and tongue trauma, uh, untreated tooth fractures, or exposure of those nerve roots in the tooth. And this can affect your horse's quality of life and their performance from, chewing discomfort, bitting and bridling discomfort, and poor weight maintenance. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the anatomy of the mouth so we can better understand what can go wrong in the mouth. So all horses have a minimum of 36 teeth, though some horses can have up to 44 teeth. There are 12 incisors, which are those front teeth that they're going to use to bite grass or grab hay or grab feed. And then there are 24 cheek teeth, which are in the back of the mouth. And those cheek teeth, that's just a general term for both the premolars and the molars. Some horses will have canines. That's most common in our male horses, and they can have up to all four canines or less than that. And then some horses will have wolf teeth, which are these little tiny vestigial premolars that sit back here. And you're probably familiar with the term wolf teeth or wolf tooth because a lot of horses get those teeth pulled prior to entering into training. So generally, foals are born with no teeth at all. Sometimes they're born with just little tiny buds of those first incisors poking through the gum. And then during their young life, their baby teeth will erupt, and then those baby teeth will be replaced with their adult teeth. And by the age of 5 years old, a horse will have its full set of adult dentition. So, what makes horses unique in their dental care? Well, horses have what's called hypsodont teeth. And this means that they have this really long reserve crown and they continuously erupt or continuously grow their teeth throughout their lifetime. This differs from other species like ourselves, where our tooth just grows in to a set length and then that's it. There's no wear and regrowth. We just have what we have. Species with hypsodont teeth are generally those that chew with a grinding motion, and they eat more gritty material, so they suffer from more dental wear. Uh, Examples including our large herbivores, like horses. This grinding motion wears down the enamel surface of the tooth, while continuous growth of these hypsodont teeth really compensates for that tooth wear during mastication. So you can imagine these animals, if they didn't have this continuous growth, they would end up wearing their teeth down completely at a fairly young age, which would affect their longevity and ability to survive. So maintenance of normal tooth alignment in the mouth for the horse requires that the entire grinding surface of those teeth, also called the occlusal surface, be worn and be worn evenly. And that means we need, or the horse needs, to have adequate lateral excursion of the mandible. Lateral excursion of the mandible is just a really fancy term for that. If this is the upper part, the skull, and this is the mandible, that mandible has to be able to move side to side appropriately so that the horse can grind their food in that appropriate grinding motion. Uneven wear can result in sharp enamel points and malocclusion of the teeth or malalignment of the teeth. These sharp points can poke into the cheeks, they can poke into the tongue, causing ulcerations and little wounds. Um, Malocclusion also exacerbates that inefficient chewing motion, and that's going to lead to more malalignment kind of in this vicious cycle if we don't interrupt that improper wear and that improper malocclusion of the mouth. So here are some examples of common dental issues seen in horses on dental exam. One of the most common for certain is going to be the sharp enamel points, which is that upper left-hand image. And you can kind of appreciate that there are these sharp areas kind of on the outside of the teeth. This is the upper arcade of teeth here. And you can see there are several arrows pointing to these little areas of ulceration along the inside of the cheek there, where those sharp points poke into the tissue. Another one is the formation of hooks or ramps, which are these kind of overgrowths of enamel, either kind of on the first premolar on the top arcades or the very back molar of the bottom arcades. And that's just those form because there's not appropriate wear of that enamel in those locations. The next one there, kind of upper middle, is what's called a step mouth. And step mouth usually occurs when there's a tooth that doesn't have a lower neighbor. Because these teeth, right, they oppose each other and they grind. If there's a missing tooth underneath this upper tooth here, it's just going to grow unopposed and it's never going to have a buddy that's going to touch it and grind it down. So you get this overgrowth of one tooth, and then that really impacts how well, that horse is able to grind and affects that lateral excursion of the mandible. The last example, which is the bottom right here, is what's termed a wave mouth. And it looks kind of like a step mouth, but it ends up, being a much more pronounced kind of wave in the entire arcade here, where we see just really uneven wear of the teeth. We want to see teeth that wear very linearly across so that they sit and oppose each other as nice parallel lines. And this mouth is really wavy. And again, same sort of concept where that's really going to affect that horse's lateral excursion, grinding motion during chewing. A couple other examples, which I don't have pictures of here, will include what's termed a diagonal bite or shear mouth, and that's when the teeth, instead of opposing each other top to bottom like this, they start to wear on a diagonal. And then the other is what's called a diastema, which is basically a big gap in between teeth. And those gaps will pack feed, and then that can lead to inflammation and infection around the gums and around the roots of the teeth. So how often should horses have their mouths checked? Well, it's going to depend on the age of the horse and if that horse has a history of any previous dental issues. Young horses should be examined about every 6 months or so, and that's because their teeth are erupting really rapidly. So it's common for them to develop sharp points and develop some early malocclusion. They can also retain caps. A cap is basically just the end of their baby tooth that gets stuck on their adult tooth. And those retained caps can kind of cause some problems. So it's nice to identify those and just remove them so that the adult teeth can come in normally and start to wear down normally. Adult horses are generally examined about once a year. And once that horse transitions kind of more into senior age, more frequent monitoring and more frequent dental exams may be warranted, just because senior horses can end up developing some of their own dental disease. Namely, they can develop what's called smooth mouth, where they just get too much wear as they age, and their molars start to smooth out, so they don't have that nice um, textured grinding surface anymore. It's also not uncommon for senior horses to lose teeth as they lose some of that reserve root. So if on exam any abnormalities are identified, then your vet is going to proceed with floating the teeth. Um, or if there's kind of a more serious issue that's identified, for example, like a fractured tooth, then certainly your vet's going to discuss sort of a game plan for what the next steps would be to address that issue. So I use this term float or floating. What is that? Well, it's basically filing down the enamel of the teeth so that we can reestablish good alignment and reduce any of those sharp points and sharp areas that are going to cause trauma to the mouth. Traditionally, tools used to float teeth were very similar to farrier tools. They were these hand rasps, and they took a lot of elbow grease to rasp down the teeth and do a really good job. Nowadays, we're lucky that we have the benefit of power float equipment, which is basically the use of a diamond coated grinding disc on a motorized arm. And that really, does all the hard work for us, right? And so using power float equipment is really the gold standard now, and it's superior all around. It's easier on the veterinarian performing the float. It's also easier on the horse because we can do a much faster job and we can do a much better and thorough job. So we end up with better outcomes overall. These two pictures show examples of power float equipment you might be familiar with or have seen your vet use. That upper image there is basically a vest or a little backpack that carries your battery. And then you can see that vet there is using that dental float arm, and there's a little grinding disc on the very end. And then she's looking in the mouth with her headlamp and is going to be aiming for any of those trouble areas. And then same thing in that lower image, except for instead of using a little backpack, it's that float is attached to essentially a drill that has that rechargeable battery pack. So let's talk through what to expect when your vet comes out for a dental exam and or a dental float. So the very first thing that they're going to want to do is the visual exam and sort of manual palpation of the mouth. This is going to require sedation, and it's going to require the use of a dental speculum. So without sedation or that speculum, your vet really cannot assess much of that mouth safely, right? So in order to do a thorough job, oral exams should be performed under just standing sedation, and then that speculum is going to be placed in the mouth and opened so that it holds the mouth open so that you can actually stick your hand or your instruments in there. The mouth will be rinsed out with water, get all that extra feed material and grass or whatever's in there. And then your vet's going to be able to take a really good look in there and then also put their hand in the mouth and feel around and feel for sharp points, feel for abnormalities, etc. Then, if it's indicated, the horse is going to be floated. Your vet will recommend a time frame for either a recheck dental exam or kind of when to anticipate that next float will be needed. Like we talked about, in most cases, that's going to be about every 6 to 12 months. If a bigger issue is identified on exam or during that float, like a fractured tooth, for example, then your vet's going to discuss a plan with you. Sometimes those bigger issues are going to require a second visit or referral to a hospital where they have the appropriate equipment to deal with it. All right, lastly, we're going to wrap up on why you should use your vet for your horse's dental work. There are multiple reasons why your vet is the right person for the job. First and foremostly, your vet knows your horse and already has an established relationship with you. Your vet's been extensively trained to safely perform this dental exam and perform those additional dental procedures like floating, like tooth extraction, etc. Additionally, your vet is the only individual who is licensed to diagnose and treat a medical issue, as well as administer sedation and prescribe medication. And then lastly, if any complications were to arise during your visit, your vet is actually equipped to handle emergencies and has all the equipment and all the drugs that they're going to need to handle some type of emergency situation. There are a lot of non-veterinarians out there who perform dental work for horse owners, but it's really important to check your state or your provincial laws, as using a non-veterinarian for dental work may be illegal in your area. Okay, here are references for today. And thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the other videos on our channel. We have new stuff being posted all the time on a variety of different topics. And then also be sure to check out the additional links I've provided in the description of this video below. There's some additional resources on kind of dental exam and floating, as well as common dental issues that are encountered by horse owners. So for extra information, you can check out those blog articles. Okay, you guys, thanks so much. Until next time.